I get to work for an unbelievable, school system and in an unbelievable city. Dr. Herring does an amazing job. Our principal, I can't say enough about Dr. Pignato and Dan Norton, our athletic director. Mayor Anders, our mayor, just phenomenal leadership in the city of Auburn and in the school system. So I want to introduce these guys real quick. LaMichael Gunn is a DB. He's committed already to Liberty University. He's going to be a senior. All these guys are returning starters from last year. Hugh Botiford has multiple D1 offers. Hugh, I guess y'all can tell he plays on the offensive line. Jackson Kilgore's a quarterback. Went out last year with an injury to his right shoulder, had pins and plates put in, and came back toward the end of the year. But looking for a really big year out of Jackson. Jackson's a senior, played quarterback for us. Omar Matson. Omar is a junior. He's the lone junior on the stage. Omar has multiple D1 offers, SEC offers. Omar was a sophomore last year and had about 1,700 yards for us last year as a sophomore. Peyton Plott. Peyton is a phenomenal athlete, was an all-state kid last year, played for his dad at Carroll Ozark. We were able to, get Patrick to come and coach our secondary, and Peyton's looking for big things out of Peyton this year. Peyton's going to be an athlete. You'll see him all over the place. You'll see him at receiver. You'll see him at, you may even see him at safety, at returning kicks, doing a lot of different things for us this year. You got Clem Womack. Clem Womack's been a starter for us for a while now. Offensive lineman, an all-state type player, just an unbelievable young man. And then Caleb Pitts. Caleb Pitts is already committed to App State. Phenomenal athlete, defensive end. You may see him play some tight end and doing some other things for us also this year. So great group of young men. I say this without hesitation. Great football players, but even better young men. So really excited about this year. And the senior group we have 3 great groups that line up. Our sophomore class is very athletic. They've come in, and we've got a couple guys who are pushing for starting positions as 10th graders. One of those guys is Tez Cook. Cortez is starting at safety for us right now as a 10th grader. We've got some other guys that are pushing for starting positions, so really good 10th grade group. Junior group is loaded with players also. A lot of skill guys in that group. You also have some offensive and defensive linemen in that group. And then our senior group, there's some guys that aren't up here that are real deserving. Kyle King is a kid that you'll see a lot out of this year. One of our defensive linemen. He'll have a really big year for us. Aiden Platt is another kid that's an offensive lineman who you'll see, big things out of this year. Charlie Ward's a kid that's sort of a Christian McCaffrey type kid. Will play a lot of different positions for us. And, we've just got a great group this year, and I'm really excited about getting this year started.
All right, Coach, we got a couple questions for you. Start with Tony Reese with WTVM.
What's going on, Coach? We talk about year in and year out the success y'all have had, man. Going back to last year, we know there's no surprise in 7A Region 2 that you and Central are always there. And every year, one of you was going to swap out to make that state championship spot. Just kind of how do you build off last year, knowing that you took those 2 losses, but basically going back doing what you do best?
Well, we just, we got to finish. We had got a little banged up toward the end of the year last year, and I think that hurt us a little bit. We had to sort of change our mentality offensively, sort of go to more of a running style of offense, didn't throw it as much, those last 7 or 8 games with the injury to Jackson. That sort of put us behind the 8 ball. And 2, we had 2 young guys that were backing up at quarterback that we didn't want to throw into the fire and mess them up for years to come. I feel really good this year. We got 2 quarterbacks behind Jackson that are doing an amazing job. You got Crawford Lothridge, who will be a junior this year, who's doing a great job. And you also have J.B. Upton, probably one of the best athletes anywhere. He's a great baseball player and football player. So feel real comfortable with either one of those guys in there too. So we just got to find a way to finish and find a way to put points on the board. Central's going to be good every single year. They're year in, year out. They're going to be very athletic. They're going to be well coached. and we've just got to find a way to finish. And there's so many good teams in our region this year that you can't overlook anybody. You know, there's so many great teams in our region. You know, Carver, Montgomery, Dothan, Opelika, you know, Enterprise. You know, all those teams. You know, you got Jag. There's just really good teams. You can't overlook anybody.
Coach Jack Patterson with WRBL. I pay attention to that first game on the schedule. You guys playing North Miami Beach. How did that game come about, and how does that game prepare you for the gauntlet that's Region 2 7A?
Well, we're just, you know, looking for somebody competitive to play, and, you know, couldn't get a game in that first game and had to move some things around, and actually talked to the coach at North Miami Beach, and he liked the idea. He says he likes the idea of playing out of state, because when they play in-state games, you know, they sort of get ripped of athletes because there's no real zones and stuff in that Miami area. Kids can live one place and transfer and be playing 2 weeks later at another place. So he sort of likes the idea of playing out-of-state games, you know, and he does that, I think, every year. And we were able to get them on the schedule, so we're going to see a really good team coming in that first game, and, you know, a lot of good athletes, so we're excited about getting that game. You know, also having Vestavia on the schedule and Moody on the schedule as non-region games. You know, that's good competition.
Hey, Jerry Bavero from the High School Scoreboard Show. I always say that, Eddie, when you talk about 7A football, you just write in pencil in Auburn, Central, Thompson, and Hoover. Until somebody proves me wrong, it seems to be correct every year. And every year you lose some great prospects, some great players. But explain to me how you could, who's going to replace probably the greatest kicker, high school kicker I've ever seen personally. And the second question is, if you need to get Mr. Botifer's golf clubs until January, I'll hold them for you at the golf course.
Yes, sir. Well, to answer that first question, you know, I think that we have to replace some really good players. You know, we had some really good players that graduated last year. You know, Flakes, like Legatron is what I call it. The best kicker I've seen in high school football, definitely. You know, I had no problem with him stepping out there and trying to 65-yarder. You know, it wasn't anything. You know, I feel really comfortable with throwing him out there, letting him try that. You know, we have a young man named Joe. Joe is going to be a phenomenal kicker. He's placed, you know, 1 to 3 in almost every camp he's went through this summer. Kicked a 56-yarder the other day in a camp. So we feel really good, you know, at that position. I think that he's going to step in and do a really good job. We have some other guys that are going to be vying for that position too. Got a senior who's doing really good right now. Joe will be a junior. So we've got another kicker in our younger grades who is, you know, taking up that. He's sort of on that same escalation as Towns was. You know, he's going to be a 8th grader, I think. So who's kicking some 45, 50-yarders as an 8th grader. So, you know, I think we're pretty solid at that position. And, you know, when you have guys who are really good at something, usually it excites the guys that are behind them and gets them more motivated, and it leads up to you being solid in those positions, you know, coming up. And I think that's kind of what's happened at Auburn High School. You know, we've had good players, and the guys behind them have had to work extremely hard. And I will say this, you know, we may not have the athletes against, you know, like some of the teams we play, but we've got kids that they take on that blue collar mentality, and they work hard every single day. So.
Last season, you only brought back 1 starting offensive lineman. This season, it's 4.
Yeah.
How valuable is that experience up front going into this season?
It's big. You know, when you bring back a lot of players on the offensive and defensive line, it really sets the tone for the season. And us thinking back we got Hugh, we got Clem, we got Aiden Platt, we got Trenton Pritchett, who's, you know, Trenton Pritchett. Trenton's done an amazing job. You know, he's a kid that'll be a junior who's got multiple D1 offers, North Carolina, Central Florida, you know. And then you also have Tucker Auburn. Tucker's going to be the lone guy coming in that didn't start last year. You know, you got some guys that are pushing for some playing time too. Givens, you got who else? I mean, Spinks. You know, who else? White. Yeah, White. So I mean, there's a lot of really good players up there that are pushing for some start time too.
Keith, how are things different for Omar this year? You know, he's been splitting time the last couple of years. Is it maybe more, I don't know, focus on him, or how's it different for him this year? And how's he responded to it?
Yeah, it's no different. Omar's a player. We're going to get the ball in his hands as many times as we can. We're going to get the ball in Peyton's hands as many times as we can. You know, there's other guys that's got to touch the ball for us to be successful. And Jackson does a really good job of spreading the ball around. If you go watch us playing 7-on-7s, it's not one guy's dominating the 7-on-7. It's that we do it as a group. This may be the most talented receiver group I've had in the 24 years I've been coaching. You know, we're not 6'4", 6'5", and you know jumping 40 something. But we are talented. You know, every one of our guys can run. Every one of our guys are ultra competitive, and you know they will go get the ball, and they run great routes and they catch the ball. And we got quarterbacks that can get them the ball. You know, Omar's a guy that's going, you know, we want him to touch it 15, 20 times a game. You know, if he does that, we're going to be successful. And, you know, there'll be games like you saw us in the playoffs when we played, you know, we got down there and played Baker. He touched, I think, 23, 24 times, you know, and he's one of those guys who's going to have a successful year. If we're going to win the state championship, you know, we need all these guys to have big years.
We appreciate that, Coach. We're going to get you guys to come up. If y'all can just introduce yourself, tell us what position you play, and then just give us something you're looking for this season or a goal you have for the season.
My name is Caleb Pitts. I play defensive end, and one thing I'm looking forward to this season is shutting everybody out, not letting them score. So, yeah.
I'm Clint Womack. I play offensive line, and I'm really looking forward to the experience that we got coming back at offensive line. I think that's really going to help us, like Coach Etheredge said.
Keith Etheredge, I play center. I'm excited to have Omar actually with these returning starters, and we're gonna match this year at offensive line. So I'm excited for that.
Michael Gunn. I play corner. I'm looking forward to coaching the young guys I got at DB and patrolling the sky.
My name is Jackson Kilgore. I play quarterback, and one thing I'm looking forward to this year is obviously just playing football and growing closer in relationship and bond with these guys on the team.
My name is Omar Matson. I'm the running back, and one thing that I'm looking forward to is to have a successful season and go to the state championship and win the Blue Mountain.
Peyton Plott, I play wide receiver, and one thing I'm looking forward to is setting a great example for the upcoming juniors and sophomores.
This question is for any of you guys. You can go to the podium and answer it, but a lot of you guys talked about making it back to the playoffs and getting to the state championship and winning the Blue Map. How do you do that? How do you take that next step, getting past a team like maybe Central, then getting past whoever comes out of the Birmingham region to win the state championship?
So basically it starts with everybody that's like in our room, like with us on the team and stuff. That's what I feel like. We got to have more leaders this year, stronger leaders, and you know, everybody play together and stuff and not be as selfish.
This is a question for everybody. Just with all the heavy eyes on you as well as recruiting, you know, expectations everybody wants out of y'all, how are y'all able to really block all that outside noise and just focus on the team as a whole?
We just got to focus on the team. You know, everybody on the team gonna get looked at, and we just got to focus on ourselves, focus on the players, focus on the coaches. You know, just focus as a team. So, I would say that just gotta bond together, stay strong, stay as a team.
This one's for Jackson. Just how much easier is your job having Omar and Peyton right there to throw to them?
Obviously, very blessed to have the weapons that I do. I mean, say running game's not going right, you just throw. I mean, they're all down there somewhere. Just throw it. And vice versa, passing game's not working. Omar's just gonna run it down their throats with the line we have there too. So very much a blessing. My job's pretty easy.
Jackson, you can stay up there. How excited are you to still, now being healthy, to get back at it and really give yourself a full-on season to really just go out and do what we all know you can do?
Well, last season really hurt. It was a big blow, obviously physically, but more mentally, just not being out there with my team. But this year, praying everything stays healthy. I think if we do our job, everyone does their job, play selflessly, like Caleb said, we'll have a great shot at winning a blue map this year.
Appreciate you guys' time. Coach, any closing remarks for us today before we get on out of here?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to go to work when you get to coach guys like this. It makes it really easy. I think people say, if you do what you love to do, you really don't have to go to work a day in your life. I get to be surrounded by great guys. I got a great coaching staff, unbelievable coaching staff, and that's a testament to Dr. Herring and the leadership at Auburn City Schools, because they have put together a great coaching staff and men who are going to teach these young men how to be great fathers and husbands and things like that. So I'm blessed, and we really appreciate everything that y'all do to get these guys the attention that they deserve, and for all the hard work they put in. And we're grateful to y'all. And I guess the last thing is go Tigers.